All right, shalom, shalom, Mr. Brother Mo, sir.
Shalom, shalom. It's your brother Shemawa. All.
And today we're going into, as you see in the title, integrity and hard work. All right, I'm gonna let the brother Shemawal get in there.
Khan, all praise to the Most High, right? All praise to Yahweh, Bashem Yahweh Shah, man. All praise for another day. Lord willing, brothers and sisters enduring. And there's a lot going on, as we choose this topic through the spirit, integrity, and hard work. Because there's a lot going on, man. If any issues, if anything, Iran do something, best believe, it said America gonna have problems. Right. I don't want to butcher that. Let me bring that out real quick. Let me not butcher it. Wish we could share screen. All right, let me look at this real quick. Right, it says, all right, hold on. Salaki. Right, it says the United States is withdrawing some personnel from multiple bases in the Middle East as tensions flare with Iran. Thousands of Americans are at risk if things get heated with Iran. See that? If things get heated with Iran, Babylon will be at risk. So we got to make our calling and election sure in these last days, because once all hell break loose, what's that? That door is going to be shut. Of all the things that we have done, the things we didn't do, those things will be shut because there's no point in increasing. So we have to desire to increase and desire to hold ourselves in integrity and have the fear of the Lord. Right? This First Peter chapter 1, verse 10, it says, wherefore the rather, brethren, give diligence to make your calling and election sure. For if you do these things, ye shall never fall. Right? And you don't want to fall in this place. Because as Babylon falling, you don't want to fall with it. Right? It says give diligence to make your calling and election sure. Right? Keeping yourself integrity. Not falling to diverse lust and doctrines, staying rooted, right? And doing the work, you know, going to camp if you ain't been going to camp, right? Damn, exhorting brothers, whether that's traveling, brothers that, do a lot of traveling, which that's part of the ministry, or we got to make our call in the election sure, right? You have, damn, a big outage with T-Mobile, Verizon, a lot's going on, right? So I got another precept through the spirit. Psalms 25, verse 21, right? As the days are getting shorter. Psalms 25, verse 21, it says, let integrity and uprightness preserve me, for I wait on thee. So we should be waiting on the Lord. And as we waiting on the Lord, we working hard and keeping ourselves in subjection, keeping our bodies in subjection. David said, let his integrity and uprightness preserve him. I mean, are we doing that? It's something to check ourselves. And it's a beautiful thing to be living in this type of time. Very beautiful. I mean, we tired of captivity, man. Who like waking up in the morning every day? I mean, we bring it up all the time. Who like waking up in the morning every day, or you got night shift, you know, then you may get irritated a little bit because it snow real hard, especially you got second shift. You got second shift and it snow, that make you hate captivity more because you like, man, I'm not trying to get up for Esau. But David said, let integrity and uprightness preserve him while he wait on thee. And we should be patiently waiting on the Lord, not as idle, but as always keeping ourselves occupied. Since I brought it out, my paraphrase. I'm just bring it out anyway. It's a spirit, right? Matthew 13, verse 16. It says, but blessed are your eyes, for they see. We literally seeing the second room fall before our eyes. So what should be doing? What should we be doing if we see the second room falling? We should be making sure we examine our spirits, see if we out of the spirit, see if we're not really in the spirit, see if we lukewarm, see if we idle, whatever that may be. It says, bless. It says, but blessed are your eyes, for they see, and your ears, for they hear. right? We seeing the prophecies come to pass. We seeing spirits turning up, right? Because the elect, which we don't know who are the elect, but the elect, they holding themselves diligent. They keeping integrity. They working hard, right? If you got a precept, you got it. Before I bring out another one.
Con. I'm gonna get I'm gonna get this right quick. I'm gonna get the classic. Cause like we going into, it's about integrity and hard work. We got all these things going on. Presidents getting kidnapped. Presidents getting threatened. I mean, we ain't never see when I was growing up, bro. I don't remember hearing about presidents getting kidnapped. I don't remember hearing about that type of stuff back in 2010, 2012. We was in school. I just don't remember. But now it's like literally every single day something is happening. It's absolutely crazy. I remember that video last year when I believe it was Israel was getting bombed. I never forget that. So I want to get this in Psalms chapter 90. And what was that precept you had brought out? Was it Psalms 25 and 21? I think it was.
Psalms 25, 21.
Come. I'm gonna get this in Psalms 90. I just want to write down that verse. It's Psalms 90 and verse 12. I'm gonna start at verse 11. Who knoweth the power of thine anger? It says, who knoweth the power of thine anger? Even according to thy fear, so is thy wrath. So teach us to numbers our days. It's like you teach us to number our days that we may apply our hearts unto wisdom. And this is literally a, a prayer to have the Most High to teach me that to remember that my days here are short. I don't have forever. Because just think, if you knew for an absolute fact that, let's say, the Lord had 50 more years of mercy for you, if you knew that you could mess up for the next 50 years and the Most High would still have mercy on you, you'll be playing. You'll be having a good old time. You wouldn't be, if you miss a day of reading or whatever, you wouldn't even feel bad about it because you know you got 49 years, 364 more days left. But since you don't know, that teach you to number your days. And that's literally what this prayer is telling you to do. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like them rich kids that they grow up rich. They have a different relationship with money than people who come from the inner city, lower class, middle class, whatever you want to call it. Like you don't care about crashing this Porsche if you know that your rich daddy will buy you a new one. But if you have no clue when the next time you get one, hey, that'll teach you how to appreciate it a little more. It's the same thing with this time that we got. If we didn't know that these prophecies meant that the world was coming to an end, we would still be playing around. We wouldn't have no integrity. We wouldn't want to put no work in. Hey, anytime I miss a day of, you know, it'd be certain times I usually pray in the morning. I'd be at work. I'm kind of sitting there at my workstation, like, dang, I forgot to pray. You kind of got to hurry up and run to you got to go pray. It's the little things that show your integrity. You gonna fall sometime. Okay, that's cool. Whatever. You human. This, and that. We ain't talking about all that. You know what I'm saying? Integrity, just me speaking as a man, is really about intent. What do you intend to do? You feel what I'm saying? So let me get this. I'm gonna read this one more time, and you got it. I can pass it back to you. It's Psalm chapter 90, and verse number 11. Who knows the power of thine anger? Even according to thy fear, so is thy wrath. So teach us to number our days, that we may apply our hearts unto wisdom. And this is a beautiful thing to ask the Most High for. Ask the Most High to keep your mind stayed on what it's supposed to be on. Otherwise, you're going to be playing around. And you're going to think it's sweet. You're going to think it's a game. But if you know that, hey, I ain't got that much longer. The Most High ain't gonna keep giving me so much mercy like I think. If you ask the Most High to teach you that, to give you that understanding, you'll apply your heart to wisdom. Then you'll start reading how you're supposed to, and praying how you're supposed to, and repenting how you're supposed to. What you got?
God, man. Yeah, people who rich, they don't even like money. Not even a thing to them. They spend 10,000 and they like shoot 10,000 like losing $20 to them. That's like, yeah, I just spent $20. It don't that don't matter, you know. So, hey, what's going on? If that don't wake you up, then that just let it be known that you really don't care about this thing, or you just want, you just want to live deliciously in America, so called, right? So I'm gonna get First Thessalonians chapter 1 verse 3. It says, "Remembering without ceasing your work of faith, because your works show your faith, and your faith show your works." Right, keeping the commandments, right? That shows your faith. Noah, he showed his faith. Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, our forefathers was hardworking men and hold integrity. Joseph, right? It says, remembering without ceasing your work of faith and labor of love and patience of hope in our Lord Yahweh Shah Mashiach in the sight of God and our Father. So it's commanded for us to not seize our work of faith, to not, you know, seize our labor of love, you know, especially as you seeing these things come to pass. I mean, that should give us good. That's your engine. That's putting more oil in your engine, and that oil through the spirit represents understanding. Because as you see the prophecies happen, you should be happy. Hey, that's a new tune up right there. You may be down bad, you maybe you got spirits on you. You study with your rib. She may not be getting it. It's taking her a while. You know, it's not irritating you, but you concerned. You like, man, am I doing something or whatever? Boom, boom. You see the prophecies. You see what's going on. Trump, like brother brought out, presidents getting kidnapped. I never heard that either. You know, damn, Trump stealing oil tanks, bombs flying left and right, power outages, blackouts, and a lot of stuff going on. Right, that should make you happy. That should automatically keep that engine going, right? All your brakes working, your wheels still turning, your windshield wipers still working, everything is working. So the Lord says, seize uh without season, remember without season your work of faith and labor of love and patience of hope in our Lord Yahweh Shah Mashiach in the sight of God and our Father. Right? Knowing, brethren, beloved, your election of God. Right? While you're doing the work, you have to remember you're working for a spot for the Lord. We all is. We don't know what we're going to be. We don't know what we're going to get, but we know what we will have if we continue to have integrity and hard work, doing our work of faith and labor of love. Because ultimately, you doing this thing, that means you love your master. When you do things at work, you doing things for your manager, he tell you to do something, hey, that's a sign of you saying that, hey, you obey him. I want to say you love Esau, but you got Jakes that love Esau. They do what he say. Smiling in his face, shaking his hand, right? You so damn appreciative of him getting you a pizza. Y'all got pizza party on a Wednesday now because you got a good record. And hey, imagine with the Most High. You keeping the commandments, you loving you loving your brethren, you edifying the flock, you feeding your family, right? Imagine what you're going to get, the riches in the third heavens, the kingdom, right? Imagine what you're going to get with that. Because that's obviously showing, that's a labor of love. And you edifying the people, feeding the flock, that's you showing love to the flock. Right? Let me get that. Matthew chapter 20. I believe that's Matthew chapter 20. Right? Matthew chapter 20. Let's get that quick precept. Matthew chapter 20 and verse 25. It says, but Yahushua called them unto him and said, ye know that the princes of the Gentiles exercise dominion over them, and that so like and they that are great exercise authority upon them. But it shall not be so among you. But whosoever will be great among you, let him be your minister. Right? It says, and whosoever will be chief among you, let him be your servant. Because you edifying the sheep and you love doing, you're not doing for filthy lucre. You ain't charging people. That's labor of love, man. Right? Labor for Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. Serving the people, feeding the flock, man. So you can't seize, let me go back to that precept. So you can't seize from that. And seeing what's going on, that should have you to keep going harder. Realizing that you're not in this thing for vain, not vainglory. I don't know why I thought spell me say that, but for vanity. You know, this thing is real. These scriptures are coming to life. And ultimately, if you stop, that means that you don't believe in this thing, or the world got you in a chokehold, or it's starting to choke you. It's starting to have you in a leg lock, and now you just now you freaking off every time you get off of work. You have to do a video when you get off work, but you decide to chill. You decide to watch your favorite show. You decide to get on Netflix. You know, that's madness. Why you got all hell breaking loose. People don't know what's going on. Everybody happy and really don't have a reason to be happy. They just in the flesh. So they don't know what's going on, man. But we do. And you see these things coming to life, you should be wanna keep them wheels turning. So like, yeah, I'm trying to get back to First Thessalonians. Right. So First Thessalonians chapter 1, right? We go back to verse 3. Well, verse 4, it says, knowing, brethren, beloved, your election of God. Because you have to remember, as you're doing these things, we trying to get a spot. We don't know. We don't know who the elect is, but we trying to be worthy of that election, right? It says, verse 5, for our gospel came not unto you in word only, but also in power and in the Holy Ghost and in much assurance, as ye know what manner of man we were among you for your sake. You know what type of man our forefathers was. You know what type of man the apostles was, right? So we should be moving in that manner and making sure we make our call in the election sure, right? So you got to, you got something.
Uh, I was watching this video earlier. Um, I came across it. It's this it's this guy, right? He know he Israelite and all that, and he be teaching, doing his thing, whatever. So he had this video where he was talking about how a lot of people don't like how intense that the Bible is, or that the teachers of the Bible are when they teach it. They're like, oh, you know what I'm saying? They be loud, they be whatever they say. But he was like, man, I wish I could remember. I wish I could play the video. But to get to the point, he was saying that that same intensity that you used to use when you was in the streets, the same intensity you used to use when you was going to the mall Friday night to go out, getting your fit ready for the club, that same intensity that you was using in the world, don't lose that for the Most High now. And it cut me so bad, so bad. He was basically saying that same amount of energy that you used to put into that, you need to put it into being an Israelite. And it cut me bad. Cause just think, back in the day when you was trying to find them damn cheat codes for your favorite game. I remember Mortal Kombat had had all. I don't know if you ever played that, but they used to have them long move lists. It might be right, down, square, triangle, XX, left, right. I mean, super long move list. And if you remembered all that, you'll do the coldest move. You'll probably be on YouTube all night looking up moves. You know what I'm saying? Just imagine you apply that same intensity to the truth, bro. It was cutting me so bad. He wasn't saying all that about the video games, but I'm just saying for the edification of the church. Like, just think if we put forth that same amount of effort. I just want to read this precept right quick. This is Matthew chapter 10 and verse number 30. It says, but the very hairs of your head are all numbered. That's the verse. I couldn't even imagine. I think they got like carnival games where they got a jar with a bunch of marbles or whatever it is, and if you whoever guessed the closest win the prize. And almost nobody ever guesses. It's almost impossible for you to look at that and be able to tell how many is in there. Yet the Bible is saying that the very hairs of your head are numbered. The Most High know exactly how many pieces of hair you got on your head. How much more so your actions? He know you so well. He know how many hairs is on your head. And not only that, if he know how many hairs on your head, he know exactly what you gonna do tomorrow, what you gonna do after this video is over. He knows what manner of man you are, right? So we gotta really understand that this is not your boss at work. We can't think of the Most High like your boss at work. When you're not at work, he ain't watching you no more. Hey, the Most High is on fire at all moments. So we gotta really keep integrity. I want to go to Job very quick, and I ain't gonna read the whole thing. But one of the greatest things about Job was his integrity. See, to go through what Job went through and to still trust in the Most High, you know what I'm saying? It takes integrity to do that. This is Job chapter 2. And I'm going to get straight to it because Job 2, it gets kind of deep. It's Job chapter 2 and verse 3. I'm going to start at verse 1. Again, there was a day when the sons of Yahweh came to present themselves before the Lord. And Satan came also among them to present himself before the Lord. And the Lord said unto Satan, from whence comest thou? And Satan answered the Lord and said, from going to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down in it. And the Lord said unto Satan, hast thou considered my servant Job, that there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and an upright man that feareth Yahweh and escheweth evil? And still he holdeth fast his integrity, although thou movest me against him to destroy him without cause. The Lord even knew, the Most High knew of the integrity of Job. He said, even though nobody is like Job, Job ain't moving like he him. He wasn't popping his collar. He wasn't just doing it for show. He didn't just make it look good. Integrity is what you do when nobody's watching. Like, we Israelites in real life. I know this brother. That brother know me. You know what I'm saying? We Israelites in real life. This is not just something that's, you know what I'm saying, a damn this ain't just a YouTube personality, a TV personality. When the cameras go off, we know. You feel what I'm saying? We going to new moons, unity camps. Like that's integrity. It's what we do when the cameras is not on. God forbid we ever on here preaching to the people, and then me and the brother going to hot box the whip after the video. God forbid that ever happen. You know what I'm saying? It take integrity. Like, imagine if the Most High was talking about you how he was talking about Job. Have you seen my servant brother Israel? It ain't nobody in Babylon like my servant Israel. He's perfect to me. Imagine if the Most High was talking about you. I can't imagine, but it'll almost bring tear to my eyes. If I knew the Most High was talking, have you ever seen my brother, my servant Mawasar? We talking about the Most High God here. So when it comes to integrity, you got to really, really make sure you got that. And this is a cut to me. Because we all slip. I don't care who you is, how mighty in the truth you think you are. We all slip while we in this captivity. Right? I'm going to read one more precept and you got it. This Psalms chapter 26 and verse number 11. But as for me, I will walk in mine integrity. Redeem me and be merciful unto me. So David is asking the Most High, because I'm standing in my integrity, please be merciful to me. Why would you have to ask for mercy if you never did nothing wrong? You feel me? That's why we need the Most High mercy. But you can't ask for the Most High mercy if you're not doing right when you're not in front of the cameras or you're not in front of the crowd. For whatever you did last week, whatever you did 3 hours ago, you gotta walk in your integrity. You can't ask the Most High, hey, Lord, please take this adulterous spirit off of me, and then don't put no work behind that. You telling the brothers at camp, oh yeah, you know what I'm saying, I've been working on this, and that. And then behind closed doors, you're doing another thing. Hey, the Lord just kind of jam you up for that. But if you're trying to walk in your integrity, you're trying to actually get right. You're trying to be the same Israelite behind closed doors that you present to everybody else. Then, hey, Lord willing, the Most High have mercy on you. What you got up?
God, man. Hey, that mercy. You need that mercy, man. Right? I mean, without that mercy, how far can you go? Right? It's up to the will of the Lord. Right? I'm gonna get Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 22. Right? It says, wherefore I perceive that there is nothing better than that a man should rejoice in his own works. You know, most are willing, we endure our things, keep our body in subjection, and we, do this work, we'll be able to enjoy our works, you know. And a man, hey, it feels good when you had a nice day at work, a hard day at work. You get home and you rejoice in the work of your hands. You may want to get a drink, you chill, whatever that may be, in righteousness. It's good that a man rejoice in his own works. It says, for that is his portion, for who shall bring him to see what shall be after him. Right. So as we got all hell breaking loose, you don't want to have the bare minimum. You don't want to do the bare minimum in this thing or have nothing at all. Right. And there's people out here, they say that. It's somebody out here that's really thinking that in their mind, I'm gonna be in the kingdom anyway. It's really sodomite. I don't want to go too deep. That's really sodomite. So hey, I'm gonna come out of elect anyway. I'm gonna still be in the kingdom. That's gay. I'm gonna try to put. I'm not saying that's gay. Right? That's off. Right? But a man should rejoice in the works of his own hands. Right? And in that day, as these prophecies happen, Jacob's trouble, the famine of the word, so on and so forth, we're in the wilderness, and you endure those things. You're gonna be recompense of the works of your doings, and you're going to be able to rejoice. So you don't want to get the bare minimum. And the only way you can get that far is through the mercy and grace. You don't want the Lord's grace to be in vain. Right? Let's get that. You don't want the Lord's grace to be in vain. You having all this mercy and grace, and you not actually pushing. You see what's going on in the world, and you're not getting yourself together. You're not getting your spirit right. Right? Let's get that. That should be First Corinthians 15, if I'm not mistaken. 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 10. It said, but by the grace of God, I am what I am. Right? By the grace of God, you is what you is. By the grace of the Most High, we are who we are right now, serving the Lord. Because before the grace of the Most High, which obviously we was in the world, and the grace and that mercy is for allow us to even come into the truth. But before the truth, we was wicked, man. Still is wicked. We still are wicked. We trying to be righteous because the law was only given to a man that is unrighteous, a man that is not godly. Let me get that real quick, man. So lock it. Let me get that real quick. All right. All right. So this is, what was it? What I wanted. Oh, so I'm tripping. Salakia. That should be First Timothy. I think I was right where I was. Salakia. Yeah. Yes, Titus.
You look at First Timothy 1:9.
Yeah, I was just I'm looking here as soon as I turn to it. I'll praise to the Most High.
Uh,
Right, Salakia. Right, First Timothy chapter 1 verse 9. It says, knowing this that the law is not made for a righteous man, but for the lawless and disobedient. We were very, very disobedient before we came in this truth. Extremely disobedient. So the law was given not to a righteous man, but to a man that's lawless and disobedient, for the ungodly and for sinners. So you come in this thing, you don't want the grace and mercy to be in vain, right? Let's just finish that verse. Right, it says, knowing this that the law is not made for a righteous man, but for the lawless and disobedient, for the ungodly and for sinners, for unholy and profane. We was profane before this truth. You got some people that's profane in the knowledge and wisdom of the Lord, just profane. And the Lord still having mercy on you, right? You've been freaking off. Well, you haven't even been freaking off. You just been going off. And you still ain't getting yourself right. But now you have a chance to, only because of the grace and mercy. But just be, hey, does that mean you can continue to sin? Right? God forbid. Right? And it says, for murderers of fathers and murderers of mothers, for manslayers, right? And it continue to go on. Whoremongers, and we know Israel is huge whoremongers. We worse than the heathen. Right? So back to 1 Corinthians 15, you don't want that grace and mercy to be in vain. Right? 1 Corinthians 15, verse 10. But by the grace of God, I am what I am. So only by the grace and mercy, you are who you are today. You in this truth, you putting on fringes, you know the name of the Lord, you can repent, you keeping the Shabbat, you eating the lawful foods of the dietary law, right? You damn giving alms. You are who you are just by the grace and mercy. It's not by you, right? And it says, and his grace which was bestowed upon me was not in vain. Can we actually say that it was not in vain? And if you think that is in vain, and you got a chance to check yourself. Everything what's going on in the world is for a chance for you to shake off that BS off you, man. Shake it off. Right? It says, but I labored more abundantly than they all, yet not I, but the grace of God which was with me. See that? The grace of God which is with you shall allow you to strengthen yourself in this truth, because it's commanded for us to increase in applying the precepts more in our life, increase of edifying the sheep. Us all of us have to increase. Yahweh shall increase, right? So let me get Ruth chapter 2 verse 12. Ruth chapter 2 verse 12. Like I say, it's a beautiful thing to live in this time. Like, man, my phone, like when the service run out, and my phone was just tripping, but it kept coming on and coming off. But I was still like, once it come on, it notification, and then it come off. Then I seen a notification that all service went out and stuff like that, and I just had a smile on my face. I just started smiling. I'm like, see that, because it's gonna come to a time where everything is gonna shut down, and it's then what? And people is gonna shut down. People gonna be overreacting, man, because people need their phone, which is off. Because you need the Lord. You don't need your phone. You don't need Esau's technology. The book of Ruth, chapter 2, verse 12, it says, the Lord recompense thy work, and a full reward be given thee of the Lord God of Israel, under whose wings thou art come to trust. So those are the wings who we are come to trust, right? The Lord will recompense your work, and a full reward will be given. So we continue to keep integrity, right? Let's get James chapter 1, verse 12. We hold integrity. We endure temptation. We be joyful in tribulation, right? And meditate on the precepts, strengthen our spirits. Because if we're not meditating on the precepts, obviously you're not gonna have some type of integrity. You're not gonna have hard work, right? I almost lost precept that I want. It kind of escaped my mind a little bit. All right. Lord willing to come back to me. Lord willing to come back to me through the Spirit. Right. You heard a precept I said? Kind of escaped me a little bit.
I ain't catch it.
You didn't catch it? Yeah, it was on my mind. All praise to the Most High. Lord willing to come back to me. But that's, I mean, yeah, Most High willing. Most High willing. At that point, I'm gonna get I'm gonna get John chapter 4.
Oh, it was James. I think it was
Yeah,
James
James
chapter
chapter
1.
1. Yeah, James chapter 1. See that? I'll praise to the Most High. James chapter 1. The water. The water, Yahweh. Right? James chapter 1, verse 12. See that? James chapter 1, verse 12. It says, blessed is the man that endured temptation. The Lord said, blessed is the man that endured temptation. Right? For when he is tried, he shall receive the crown of life. And when you receive that crown of life, that reward is going to be something crazy, right? That's going to be a beautiful word. That's everlasting life. That's 1,000 wives, 1,000 sheep, cattle. You rule in 10 cities, maybe 20, maybe 30. You got damn 40,000 slaves. You know, it says, blessed is the man that endured temptation. Not blessed is the man that's lukewarm, right? Blessed is the man that that's enjoy Babylon the Great. It's Israelites that's enjoying Babylon, making a profit, so-called profit off Babylon. But those the one that's gonna mourn when they see the smoke in the air, a mushroom cloud. So it says, blessed is the man that endured temptation, for when he is tried, he shall receive the crown of life, which the Lord hath promised to them that love him. Because you having integrity, hard work, that labor of love, you showing that you love the Most High. You showing that you love Yahweh Bashem Yahushua and your brethren. You love your brethren, you love the Lord. You loving the Lord, you will love your brethren. See that? And the Lord is not a man that he shall lie. It's promise. Is definitely promise. Right? So verse 14, I'm gonna read that. But every man is tempted. I'm gonna jump down. But every man is tempted when he is drawn away of his own lust and enticed. If nothing else getting you, it'll be yourself. Because it's your own desires. Like we have said before plenty of times, you got to say no to yourself. It's yourself you have to say no to 1,000 times, more than 1,000 times. You wake up, you got to say no to yourself. So that's just what it is. You got it.
That was a beautiful statement that the brother just made. I'm gonna go to Sirach 18 right quick. I was literally just having a conversation. What's today? Wednesday. It had to be like last Friday or Saturday. I was on the phone. Uh, I was on the phone with my dad, and I was literally telling him. I was like, just sitting there thinking in my car, and I called him. I was like, you know, I'm really the only thing that can hold me back. Literally, was just having a conversation with my pop. If you really think about it, right? Okay, we all got Bibles. We all got apocryphas. We all got thousands upon thousands of videos on the internet about the truth. You might have your notebook. You might have your flashcards. I like flashcards. You might have two Bibles. You might have the Lord might have gave you other family members that's in the truth that you can go to. He might have gave you brothers and sisters that's in your camp. Even if you're not in the camp, you can DM a brother that's or a sister that's more knowledgeable than you. But it's really about you just doing it. Like you really think about it, it's just about you doing it. There's nothing else to it. Like we got internet access, bro. The internet has in 10 seconds flat, you can find any information you want to find. Paul and them did not have that. That was not a thing. You know what I'm saying? And Daniel wasn't able to Google like how we can. Nobody in the Bible had any of the technology that we got, and yet and still we take it for granted. And like I say, we, because I'm not an exception to that rule, to that statement. Like I was saying earlier, imagine if we put as much effort into the Most High as we did to the video games, into the gang banging we used to do, into the stripping we used to do, into the pack slanging we used to do, into the robbing and the stealing that we used to do. And Paul said something about that. I won't even try to think of the precept. But let's get this in Sirach chapter 18, and I believe it's verse 30. Come. Sirach chapter 18 and verse 30. Go not after thy lusts, but refrain thyself from thine appetite. If thou givest thy soul the desires that please her, she will make thee a laughing stock to thine enemies that malign thee. You got to be careful. Your pleasures can get you put in a position to where you laughed out of the room. That's literally what's going to happen to America. We got to remember what type of God we serve. The Most High has no problem exposing you in front of everybody. That's what's going to happen to America. That's literally what's going to happen. We didn't see it happen to brothers in the truth. Look, brothers outside the truth. Look what happened to P. Diddy. That case wasn't kept quiet and ain't nobody hear about it. Hey, we bringing it up on this video because I know you heard about it. The R. Kelly thing. These things being brought to light. The Epstein files. Hey, this stuff is not, the Most High didn't keep it quiet. Let me get that in Luke right quick. That's why it's important to have integrity. Let me get this in Luke. I believe it's chapter 8. Lord willing, this is what I'm looking for. Luke chapter 8. Because everything that's done will be revealed. Everything that's done in the dark. I'm really hoping that this is that verse. Luke chapter 8. Salaki, my page is sticking me up. 8 and verse. That's not it. Give me 1 second. I'm going to find this verse. Because it's very, very important to have integrity. That's why we did this video. Done in the dark. Luke chapter 12. That's what it is. Kind of. All praise to the Most High. You go to Luke chapter 12 and verse number 2. That's it. Luke 12 and 2. For there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, neither hid that shall not be known. This is Yahweh Shai speaking himself. This is red letter. There is nothing that's done that won't be revealed. That goes for good stuff and bad stuff. Like the brother was talking about, getting that crown of glory. That's the Lord revealing your good works. When we was reading in Job earlier, the good works of Job, the integrity, his perfectness was being revealed. Hey, when you read about Saul, his evil was being revealed. When you read about King David, all his good was revealed, but his evil was revealed too. What he did wrong with Bathsheba is written in the Bible. We can read about it. The Lord didn't hide it and kind of act like it didn't happen. What Judas did was revealed. So just imagine, what do you want the Most High to reveal about you? And that's a cut to me. It's like, dang, I don't want the Most High to reveal nothing bad about me. The Most High is the greatest news reporter of all time. He's so cold that we reading the news from 2,000 plus years ago right now in this video. That's how good of a news reporter, a journalist, that's the word. So what do you want? I remember a brother was saying that. I think it was the brother Shamar in Detroit was saying, like, what if you had your own book in the Bible or something like that? What would be written in it? Just imagine that for a second. If it was a book of Mawasar, and the Lord said, okay, such and such, such and such. Yeah, he was hitting blunts after the Wednesday videos. you'll be like, dang, and you can't do nothing. Let's get that in Ecclesiastes. When the Lord do something, there's nothing you can do about it. And then you got it. And we say this little stuff and it might be funny, but hey, it's true. This Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and verse number 14. I know that whatsoever Yahweh doeth, it shall be forever. Nothing can be put to it, nor anything taken from it. And Yahweh doeth it that men should fear before him. The reason the Most High does stuff and you can't do nothing about it is so that you can fear him. That's why you got, bro, that's why we can't take this grace for granted. You understand, it's Israelites who will never know that they are an Israelite. They are going to be destroyed. They have no idea what's coming. Your baby mama who hating on you, your grandma who trying to cook pork while you in the house just because she know that you an Israelite and you don't mess with the pork. They bringing crab boils and lobster tails in the house, cooking it on the stove because they know, hey, that they don't know that the Most High is to be feared, but you know. That's why we gotta have integrity. That's why we gotta make sure that, hey, I'm a representative of the Most High properly. You gotta have the right jersey on. I'm gonna get one more precept and you gotta it's in Matthew. What I'm looking for. Matthew chapter 6. Like I said earlier, man, we Israelites in real life. Matthew chapter 6, and I believe on verse 30. Matthew chapter 6 and verse 24. No man can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. Ye cannot serve God and mammon. And we got to remember that. We have to remember that. You can't, there's no such thing as halfway serving the Most High. You just not serving the Most High. And we know what's going to happen to those who don't want to serve the Lord. Hey, in Luke 19, it say, bring them before me and slay me. Slay them. Those that would not that I should rule over them. It's really get down or lay down in the truth. This is not Christianity where we telling you, hey, the Lord gonna give you a hug after you just committed adultery with that man's wife. No. We're gonna tell you straight up, hey, you got to choose a side. And choosing a side includes what you do when ain't nobody looking. It includes when we off the Wednesday video, then what do you do 30 minutes after that? But you got
God, see that? Right? I'm gonna get Job chapter 34, verse 11. Right? Just feeding up to that through the spirit. It says, for the work of a man shall he render unto him, and cause every man to find according to his ways. So everything that you do, whatever you meditate on, right? Whatever you know your walk is, that's the works you're gonna get, whether that's the death or life. It says, for the work of a man shall he render unto him, and cause every man to find according to his ways. So whatever you sow, that's the fruits you're gonna get. It says, yes, surely God will not do wickedly, neither will the Almighty pervert judgment. You're gonna be mad at the Most High for him embarrassing you, but look at the things that you was meditating on. Look at the things that you was doing. It wasn't according to the Most High. You know you're supposed to hold integrity, but you was just you was careless. The Lord ain't get on you yet, and you use his mercy and grace as a, like it was just spit, like it was nothing, right? Just because the judgment ain't executed speedily, you think you continuously do evil. And it's not like you trying to do evil, but you moving in that spirit and you not examining yourself. But it said, yes, surely God will not do wickedly, neither will the Almighty pervert judgment. He's not going to take that judgment away. So while all hell breaking loose, that should get your spirit right. And make sure you doing the sacrifices as a priest, man. Throw those prayers up, edify your family, right? Exhort brothers, do a video. I know brothers be saying, man, you ain't gotta do no hour video, 2 hour video, or it ain't gotta be even 30 minutes, but something that's profitable for the spirit, edifying for the sheep. 5 minute video, 10 minute video, going to the milk. Or if you go into prophecy, it ain't gotta be no damn deep, it ain't gotta be like that. You just going on America getting destroyed. It doesn't have to be nothing extreme, but something that's edifying to the sheep, because somebody see your video and it'll be like, dang, I never, man, I never knew this. America is getting destroyed because boom, 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 or man, I never knew that I'm an Israelite. Dang, no wonder I like this and like that in my spirit. It can happen. But hey, whatever you sow, that's what you also reap. I'm gonna get the other precept, Galatians 6, but
That's crazy. I'm literally turning to it as you said that.
yeah, I'm gonna get Cyrac. I'm gonna get Cyrac. You got it.
No, no, you got it. You got it. I was just saying, like that's the
You
spirit.
got it. Okay.
I'm
God,
I'm literally looking for it, as you said.
God, see that? We'll get Galatians chapter 6, man. Right, all praise to the most high. Right, so keeping integrity and not ceasing from the work of faith, because your faith show your works and your works show your faith. The labor of love, you would definitely be recompensed for the work of your doings. That fruit will actually be sweet, like honeydew towards the Lord, most high willing. This Galatians chapter 6, verse 7. It says, be not deceived, God is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap, right? So whatever seed that you sow, whatever that's meditating in your mind, you feed on to the thoughts, or you feeding on to certain spirits, you actually sowing that seed. And it's gonna grow because you continues to water it, you continues to put sun on it, you continuously nurture it. How you do that is by your actions. What are you putting forth? What are you meditating on? That's literally what you're doing. And it says, for he that soweth to his flesh, whatever you may be, you don't want to read, you don't want to study. So you obviously sowing to the flesh, you're not sowing to the spirit. So it's for he that soweth to his flesh shall of the flesh reap corruption. Right? You're gonna reap corruption, death, a reprobate mind. Because as you continuously reap the soda, not reap, but sow to the flesh, you damn what you always tired. You're supposed to read. You haven't read all day. You haven't went through a breakdown all day. You haven't prayed all day. You sow into the flesh, but you're doing other things. Even if you have read all day, there's other things you could do more, through the spirit. Not overbear yourself, but have a nice just balance of doing the works of the Lord. Because this is, like the brother said, this is our life, man. This is not a man's club or book club. This not a damn tournament, Hebrew tournament. No, this not what it is. This is a lifestyle. Our forefathers was born in the truth. This is something that they did waking up and going to sleep. It's not something, this is a hobby or anything like that. And the Lord gonna find out in that day who was treating it as a hobby or actually a lifestyle, because this is who we are. This is our bloodline. Right. So it says, for he that soweth to his flesh shall of the flesh reap corruption. But he that soweth to the spirit, how do you sow to the spirit, man? You're reading in sincerity, not just reading because you just want to get chapters done, but reading because you actually want to build up your spirit and edify the sheep and actually know the secrets of the Lord, get closer to the Lord, get closer to wisdom, right? That's you sowing to the spirit, right? Shall of the spirit reap life everlasting. You sowing to the spirit, you know, you praying for brothers, you giving alms, right? What damn you watching your speech, talking to people, brothers, sisters, you talking to your family, you watching, you sowing to the spirit. So when that time come, right, you will get that crown of life, man. And your work gonna be recompensed. Your righteous works is gonna be more than your wicked works, man. And that's why we need Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. You know, see that? Let's get Galatians chapter 5, verse 16. It says, "This I say then, walk in the spirit, ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh." Right? And that's also keeping integrity because you have to walk in the spirit. What's walking in the spirit? You have to pray. Come to the Lord, ask the Lord to for you to walk in the spirit and stay in his book. You know, it's a thought come to mind, you gotta be like, hey, that's off, man. This precept say this. Yeah, the Lord don't like that. You have to think that because you're walking in the spirit. Everything start with your mind first. Your eyes take hold of it, then your mind take hold of it. Now, all of it, if you don't take that away, now you end up going to want to do the works that your mind is meditating on. So it says, "This I say then, walk in the spirit, we shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh." Because ultimately, we at war, right? And that's keeping integrity because you walking in the spirit. And for you to stay walking in the spirit, that takes hard work because we at war, man. We're at war, right? And I got an account, then you got to this will be the last precept through the spirit, right? This is Genesis chapter 26. Let's talk about our forefathers because this take hard work. Because a lot of people, when they doing something, whatever that may be, fixing a car or a PC or damn a couch or a table, you know, or a heater, they give up every time we keep jamming up. They'll be like, "Nah, man, I'm not dealing with this, man. I ain't finna deal with that." But let's see how Isaac moved. This Genesis chapter 26, verse. Let's start at verse 14, right? Let's start at verse 13. Let's start at verse 12. So like it says, "Then Isaac sowed in that land and received in the same year an hundredfold, and the Lord blessed him." And us moving in that spirit, because Isaac moved with integrity. He was a hardworking man, just like his forefather. Not his forefather, but just like his father Abraham, right? And him taking that characteristic and that spirit and the wisdom and knowledge that Abraham gave him, and what the Lord gave Abraham, and he moved accordingly. He steady sowing to the spirit. And look what happened. We received an hundredfold. Most High willing, we will receive a hundredfold plus more if we continue to move as our forefathers, as Yahweh. It says, "And the man waxed great and went forward and grew until he became very great. For he had possession of flocks and possession of herds and great store of servants, and the Philistines envy him." Right? See that the other nations always envy us, man, because they see that in our spirit. But he had great possessions and servants. That's how we're going to be in the kingdom if you're sowing to the spirit and enduring all things. It says, verse 15, "For all the wells which his father's servants had digged in the days of Abraham his father, the Philistines had stopped them and filled them with earth," which is madness, right? "And Abimelech said unto Isaac, Go from us, but thou art much mightier than we," right? "And Isaac departed thence and pitched his tent in the valley of Gerar and dwelt there. And Isaac digged again the wells of water, which they had digged in the days of Abraham his father. For the Philistines had stopped them after the death of Abraham, and he called their names after the names by which his father had called them." Right? So he digged that well again, which the Philistines stopped up, which the well he had did. And that's not easy to do to make to dig a well, to get water. Hey, he's searching hard. Hey, we gotta search hard for the rivers of water, man, for the wisdom and knowledge and understanding. We gotta go hard for that, man, in these last days. Isaac literally is dig the same well that Abraham did, which the Philistines stopped up, and they envy Isaac, and they know who Abraham is. They have respect unto Abraham, but as soon as Abraham gone, they thought it was sweet. That's how these other nations feel about us. To Jakes that be close to him, right? So we never know how much they stopped that well because it took a long time to dig that well. Let me see how long does a well it takes, how long it takes to dig that well. So like it. Because that's not an easy thing to do. And he did it multiple times. Look at this, man. It say digging a well typically, it says takes 1 to 3 days for the drilling itself, but the entire process from permits to fully a functioning water system can take 1 to 3 weeks, man. Hey, it could take to 1 to 3 weeks with, but it says, hold on, I'm gonna read that again. It says, but the entire process from permits to a fully functional water system can take 1 to 3 weeks. And they stopped up the well which Abraham had built. And you never these heathens wicked, man. Right? But hey, Isaac did it again. Right. So verse 19 it says, and Isaac's servants digged in a valley and found there a well of springing water. How hard he worked, that's how hard we gotta work for the most high. Did that, hey, that's through the spirit, man. That's spiritual. How hard he's searching for the living waters. How hard we searching for the living waters for Yahweh Shah. Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah, man. Trying to, we gotta be panther and thirsty for the word, man. And you not as thirsty how you was when you came in as truth. Everybody know that zeal that they had, right? Everybody know, right? Verse 20, and the Herman of Gerar did strive with Isaac Herman, saying the water is ours, and he called the name of the well Esek because they strove with him. So it was a contention. So they took the well that he did, which was Abraham. They took it, right? Verse 21. And they digged another well and strove for that also. And he called the name of it Shana, really, Sitna, which is hatred, right? So that's the second time. He digged another well and they took that. Verse 22. And he removed thence and digged another well. He digged another one. He continuously digged another well. And we literally just read how long it takes to dig that. That's not easy, man. That is hard. And Jacob quit if his game tweaking. Jacob quit if his PS5 keep freezing. He would say, you know what? I'm done with this. He'll throw his control out the window. He'll throw his control out the window, man. Mama going crazy. What the hell wrong with you? Man, my game keep freezing, man. My controller going crazy, man. But our forefather doing something that can be a week or 3 weeks of work, 3 days of work, maybe. And he did it the third time, right? It says that he removed, right? And he removed from thence and digged another well. And for that they strove not. And he called the name of it Rehoboth. And he said, for now the Lord hath made room for us, and we shall be fruitful in the land. So we got to continuously hold integrity, right? And continue to work hard like our forefather Isaac, man. Continue to be thirsty and panthers after the word, just like David did, right? According to Psalms 42 and 1. So that's spiritual, man. That take a lot of work. That's a lot of hard work. And this is our forefather. Like we his grandkids, and we not moving in the spirit no more, dude. We destroyed. But we have to move in that spirit, Israel. But you gotta
I just wanted to close out with this. This is Proverbs chapter 2. And I'm going to start at verse number 3. Yea, if thou criest after knowledge, and liftest up thy voice for understanding, if thou seekest her as silver, and searchest for her as for hid treasures, then shalt thou understand the fear of the Lord, and find the knowledge of God. For the Lord giveth wisdom, out of his mouth cometh knowledge and understanding. So the Bible is literally telling you in Proverbs chapter 2 that you got to chase wisdom the same way you chase the bag, and then you'll have it. You got to chase knowledge and understanding with the same intensity. Jake, that same worship that you got for money, worship wisdom that same way. I mean, Jake could be up all night researching get rich quick schemes. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got this damn sports betting spirit out here going out right now. Everybody on the damn prize picks and whatever else. I don't sports bet, thank God. You know what I'm saying? If that's what you do your thing, whatever. But that same intensity you put into them damn parlays, put that into reading the chapter. I'm gonna read this last verse and then we gonna close out. This last two verses. It's Proverbs chapter 3 and verse 13. Happy is the man that findeth wisdom, and the man that getteth understanding. For the merchandise of it is better than the merchandise of silver, and the gain thereof than fine gold. I don't care if I ran out every dollar I got right now. If I ain't have a place to stay, whatever. As long as you got the words of the Most High, like the true wisdom, like this is applicable to all parts of life. That's better than having gold and silver. It's better to be wise than to be rich. That's what the Bible is literally telling you. I didn't write this. We just reading it and repeating it to the people so they can understand. And part of being wise is having integrity. It's wise for you to understand that the hairs of your head is numbered, like it say in Matthew chapter 10 and verse 30. So if the Lord got your hairs on your head numbered, hey, you need to put your hand to the plow and put that work in, even when nobody's looking. And that was actually a mighty account that the brother brought out in Genesis 26 about the wells. And I believe they was probably talking about the time period it take with the tools.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, imagine doing that like back then. You know what I'm saying? Like it probably took them a cool 2-3 months by hand. Ain't no telling. We just speculating, but hey,
Right.
and yet and still he didn't just give up. So if the Lord gave him 100-fold blessing, who's to say that he can't do the same thing for us if we just keep working hard, keep going? We almost out of here, bro. There is no 100 more years in America. It's over. We almost out of here. All we got to do is just keep working. All we got to do is keep working. America is done. Ain't no another slavery coming after this. This is it. The Lord is on his way back. So just remember, hey, chase the wisdom the same way you chase the bag. But with that, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushua, Kwam Yashar, and Shalom.
Shalom. Praise to the Most High.